Hi everybody, this is Julissa. Thank you so much for coming back to my channel. And if you're listening in the podcast, thank you so much for being here. It is Thursday, December 21st, 2023. I needed to come here and make this video. I'm sure that by now everybody knows the breaking news that was happening yesterday regarding very well known preacher, pastor, influencer T.D. Jakes, or some people call him Bishop T.D. Jakes, a man that has been in the ministry of sharing the gospel for many many years. Has now There's something that's coming to the surface about him that, to be honest, a lot of people knew. And I gotta say, when I saw, I think it was last year or early this year, I don't remember, when TD Jakes was passing the torch, I think they call it. He was passing the torch to his daughter Sarah, and they did a whole ceremony about that, in the Potter's house, right, which is the ministry that he built. When he did that, I knew, it's almost like I felt it in me. I'm like, this guy is getting ready just in case, because um he's appointing somebody to kind of take orders in case he's not going to be available, right? Because you have to know that everything you do in the dark comes to light, and people are playing with fire. Okay, people are playing with fire, specifically Christians, that we know the truth. We know what sin is. We know that it destroys. Yeah. Instead of repenting and staying away from sin, we go back, and greed has a lot to deal with what's happening with TD Jakes, and the love of money, the love of fame, and this need to, you know is Satan will make it so appealing, and so easy for you. So what was happening with TD Jakes is is a deal with P Diddy, and how they are like good friends, and he was seen at one of his party last year for his birthday. I mean, why does a pastor like TD Jakes, like these days people are no longer watching out for their testimony anymore. You have to protect your testimony. I'm not saying to live a double life, but you need to understand, if somebody's new in the faith and they have gone through your church or something, they're gonna look out, because you might be the only Jesus they know. So they're gonna look out to see what you do, right? And they're gonna start comparing, and they're gonna start saying things, right? That's what new people in the faith do. We, as believers that been in the church for a long time, we know that at the end of the day, we're all sinners, and people are dealing with stuff, right? So, if we see somebody coming out from a liquor store, let's just say, with a big bottle of, you see them drinking like a big case of beer or something like that, and you're like, oh man, this is the worship leader, right? You're like, oh man, we gotta pray for him. He's obviously dealing with something, right? And the thing with TD Jakes and all of these pastors, because guarantee you guys, he's not gonna be the only one, okay? He's not gonna be the only one. All these pastors that gets so famous like that, you have to understand, God just told me this in my spirit. You have to understand that the devil will try anything that he can to stop the sharing of the gospel of Jesus Christ. So when you see all these famous preachers being everywhere, TD Jakes is so very well known. You have to know, I gotta be careful what I say. He's so known specifically around celebrities that have no desire whatsoever to deal with God. So when you see this pastor being so known, it's like the guy from the pastor from Hillsong, that he was with Justin Bieber and all of that. You think the devil's gonna be okay with this pastor like reaching people of the world, people that do deals with him, to create record labels and obtain fame and fortune? So when you see something like that happening, rest assured, that something else is actually happening, right? And this is what's happening with TD Jakes. Everything is being unfolded when it comes to Bishop TD Jakes, right? Um, I think there's a lot of stuff that his family knows, um, and a lot of things that they have experienced. And I hope that one day they come forward. And the reason why this, seeing what's happening with TD Jakes, seeing all of that gets us angry. And I understand people need prayer, people need deliverance. It's obviously dealing with something. It gets me angry to know that this is the fame that they are giving to the gospel of Jesus Christ. These people get into pulpits and accuse people of perhaps not tithing, giving their tithes, and accusing people of living in sin, and condemning people, saying they're going straight to hell, and then behind closed doors, they're body with big celebrity people, like somebody like P Diddy, who has made deals with the enemy to gain fame and fortune, right? All these people that are so famous in the music industry, we know that some type of ritual has been done, some type of deal with the enemy has been done when it comes to that. So let us not be ignorant. The minute you see a big famous preacher with somebody who is so very well known and famous in the industry who's not gospel related, rest assured, guys, there's something else behind it that is attracting these two together. Okay, rest assured about that. The devil will try anything so that they don't come, you know, and share the gospel. I will never forget also um, seeing Tyler Perry being at the Potter's house, right? And Oprah was there too, I think, with Gail. I will never forget seeing that Tyler Perry went to the Potter's house, and this guy was praying for TD Jakes and actually lay hands on him, and then I think he fell on the floor or something. And I was like, since when is Tyler Perry a ordained minister? Like, I couldn't understand everything that was happening there. But let's, guys, we are in the time that we need to ask God for discernment. Sometimes it worries me that we're not ready. The Bible says in the last day they're gonna say, "Go over there, he's over there, or he's over here," and like, we're so easily deceived. Okay, and I gotta be careful to tell you what stuff that I see. But let's just say, for an example, people are there's something about Gene Cabezzo that I cannot, I can't pinpoint it, but there's something off about Gene Cabezzo, the man who played Jesus in the Passion of the Christ, who now has done Son of Freedom. And I understand the whole message behind Son of Freedom, but I also understand that Gene Cabezzo is an actor, and at times when you see him doing interviews, you come and you wonder, wait a second, this guy is still playing Jesus. This man, don't forget, Gene Cabezzo has worked in the industry for years and years, okay, before he even got to play in the Passion of the Christ. And we're so easily deceived. We think Gene Cabezzo, just because he played Jesus, that he's so, close to God. There are people in the Bible say they're gonna say, in your name we did this, and your name we did the other. He's gonna say, Jesus is gonna say, I don't know who you are. Depart from me. We're so easily deceived. I hope that I'm wrong about Gene Capizzo, but to be honest, there's something about him, because the way he even talks in the camera is almost like he goes immediately into character, doing a regular interview. He could be just doing a regular interview, and he immediately turns into this um Jesus character, I guess you can say, that he did for the Passion of the Christ. Let us not forget, he's an actor. This is his career, okay? So just be careful. As for discernment, okay? Also, the whole thing with Trump, we put Trump in a pedestal also. This is why you have to be careful. Like, I can understand why people can be disappointed when it comes to TD Jakes, because this is a guy who had built a church, who had done ministry, who has done books about God. So when something that whatever came out last night, that I'm gonna go in a little more details to you guys now, when that comes out, you're so disappointed about a man of God who has fallen, basically. But when it comes to people that, you know, that have their history, I guess you can say, and now they're saying Jesus this, and like they invite choir to come and sing at the White House, and you're like, oh man, Trump is such a Christian man. He's such a man of God. Remember, guys, he's a politician. What do politicians do? They tell you what you want to hear so they can get your vote. I'm not saying to trust people, but look at character. I understand people change also. I understand that. But you have to understand also that when it came to like 2020, the elections, I do feel like we all put Donald Trump in a pedestal. Forget everything else that he has done. You know, he like it's all a game for these people. He knows that he knew that Biden probably was not gonna go and touch on the Christian boat, right? So he's like, okay, I'm gonna start shifting, and then you saw him inviting preachers to the White House to pray for him, and then you have gospel singers and concerts, and he's there, and he's like, I know who's somebody who's more famous is Jesus Christ, and everybody's applauding him. But it's a game, you know. It's it's influencing the masses so they can, somehow manipulate the end result. So just be aware of that. We are gonna see false prophets come all the time. So if we're so easily deceived about, let's just say, like I said, there's something about Jim Caviezel I can't deal with it. It's almost like I will see him. I'm like, can you break character? He's been playing Jesus for 20 years. It's like the movie wrapped up, I don't know, 2001 or something. And he's every time he gets on a camera, he's talking just like that character. He's an actor. Remember that, guys, okay? So the deal with TD Jakes is about it started up with the Cassie lawsuit that she did against Pete Diddy about 3 weeks ago, I think it was. So she did a lawsuit about sexual abuse. The thing with this, and I understand she suffered a lot, and you have to have compassion for people. They want to get in the music industry so bad that they're willing to do so much until they cannot handle it anymore. And now she comes out and she's like, I've been abused all these years by this man, all of that. And now she has given to the authorities the cell phone, I guess you can say, that was owned by P. Diddy's ex-wife, Kim Potter. And all this information is there. A lot of videos, a lot of texts regarding TD Jakes and P. Diddy, right? And one thing I gotta say, even with stuff like this, just be very careful how much you dig this up, okay? Because of the graphic detail. Because the minute we hear about something, our mind can go crazy. And we start, when it comes to sexual abuse or, gay parties and like things like that, right? And the name that they're calling TDJX now on Twitter, I don't even want to say. So just be careful about the content that you receive about this. You don't need to read the lawsuit line by line. That's what I'm saying, because there's a lot of explicit information that's being reported there that Cassie Ventura, when she did the lawsuit, did. And you have to remember, P. Diddy settled that lawsuit like the same night. Like she filed in the morning, by nighttime, like it was already settled, right? This man is so afraid on protecting what Cassie might have has said about him and everybody who is involved with it. The thing with P. Diddy has been on for many years. This man has been doing this for many years. I mean, his demeanor, you can tell his demeanor, especially, I don't know if you remember the reality show Making the Band. His demeanor with some of the people working in that reality TV, some of the cast members, you could tell this man think that he owns the world, right? So he's also a troubled soul. This man needs a lot of help. He needs deliverance and he needs repentance, right? So apparently, let me just read to you briefly this. America's most prominent pastor, TD Jakes, began trending in the internet on December 21st. Actually, it was yesterday, the 20th, after a TikToker made certain shocking claims regarding the Christian preacher. And she says allegedly that the R&B singer Cassie Ventura has supposedly handed over evidence to the FBI incriminating Diddy a month after she filed a lawsuit against him of heinous acts of violence during the decade-long relationship. While Ventura has since settled this lawsuit, social media user allegedly that she submitted further more evidence to the FBI, including tapes of Diddy's body and Kim Potter's burner phone. Potter, who passed away in 2018, raised four children with P. Diddy. Um, the TikToker then went on to claim that there were also an email that incriminated Diddy's close friend, Pastor T.D. Jakes. Like, why would a pastor? What like? Why? You know how the Bible says, come out from among them, right? Uh, don't don't be of the world. If whoever loves the world, the love of the Father is not with them, all of that stuff. And then you have this very well known Bishop T.D. Jakes being friendly, best friend, being at his birthday party with P. Diddy. Like, are you serious? You know? Do you know that there's something else there? Because the devil will fight a relationship like that. The devil will fight a relationship like that. P. Diddy, who has made deals with the enemy for fame and fortune, now is going around body with a very well known pastor for a long time. One thing is like, oh yeah, they were friends. He used to come to my church, and then I never saw him again. That's different. But attending birthday party, close friend of him, something else is there. Something else is there. So now here we are, December 21st, and it has come to the surface that somehow TD Jakes is involved with something evil, I guess you can call it, regarding P. Diddy. And this is gonna come out and you know, it's gonna be put out there. So like I said, be aware of how much you read into it because you don't want all that information in your mind. Um, just be careful about that. When it comes to like sexual abuse and all of that, you do have to be careful. Watch the content that you're researching about. You don't have to read line by line of the report that Cassie Ventura did. That stuff already happened. She sued him for it. They already settled. So just remember that. But they say that there is incriminating information regarding TD Jakes and P. Diddy. And there's a lot more stuff that's gonna come out, guys. Whatever, everything that's done in the dark will come to light. God will not be mocked. Okay, these people think that they know how to play the game. They're gonna say Jesus this and the other, and then everybody's gonna applaud them and all of that. And then after they clock out of the church, they're gonna do their evil stuff, and everything will be happy dandy with their life. God will bring all of that to the surface. Okay. Thank you everybody for coming back to my channel and listening in the podcast. Let me know what you guys think about this. Have a good night. God bless.